All right. Good morning to all my sports fans. Once again, I'm going live today. Hope you guys having a lovely, lovely Saturday. I almost say Friday. That's how behind I am. Ah, anyhow, I want to give some good news to you guys. The offensive lineman Matos, finally, he is getting feelings under his lower part of the body, which is good news. That was reported yesterday from McDaniels. Uh, good news for the Dolphins. Today, and I just saw a few minutes ago, they did sign another cornerback, Jack Jones. The team is actually hurting a lot, guys, when it comes to their injury bugs. Here we go again. We haven't started the season, and this is continue to hurt the Miami Dolphins. But anyhow, I want to thank those that have subscribed to the channel. Good morning to all of you guys. Those that have not subscribed yet, take the time to subscribe because we're about to have fun this year with the Miami Dolphins. There's so much negativity towards the team, the media, um, talking bad about the team disliking the team. Uh, you could say discouraging the fans. Um, Listen, we could critique, we could say whatever we want, in a sense, not disrespecting anybody, but at the same time, it is the National Football League and it's pro football. You win, lose, or draw. The only thing is, I'm gonna bring something up that was asked a while back about the Miami Dolphins about they haven't won a playoff game in 25 years. Okay, you're right, they haven't won one over 20 something years, but they've been there. They were there 2 years ago against Kansas City, so they've been to the playoffs. It's not they haven't won it. So that's one of the things I want to bring up. So much, you could say controversial people speaking and talking about the Miami Dolphins, talking about their lack of leadership, and talk about the owners, talking about the players, all the way to the top. At the end of the day, guys, I'm gonna say this, okay? It's professional football. They're human, just like me and you. We make mistakes, and they make mistakes like me and you. So sometimes we have to just step back and let it play out. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been saying this so long. If you haven't checked my podcast, the Dolphins, for me, to be honest with you, they look real good. Okay, they have enough players to win. Yes, you got to fill the piece of your puzzle. I understand that, but at the same time, guys, you have to realize pro football. Any of these guys out there in mini camp and in camp or training camp, and by the way, today is open to the public. Uh, you have to understand one thing, man. It's pro football. It is pro football, and any of these guys can become superstars, like I said, and make the team and make the Dolphins better. We just got to stop, criticizing this team and talking bad about this team because we decided this team, it's the same thing every year. Well, this is the year to take the monkey off their back. I think this is the year that, Daniels and Greer and the ball club. And I was looking into the culture thing. I seen players speaking in the actually media after practice, and you do see something different there. Now, are the players are buying into it? I don't know that because I'm not there to say that. But you can see there is a difference in that Dolphin camp this year. I'm a firm believer. You stay healthy. You protect Tua offensive line. He's gonna have a field day. He's gonna have a field day. Now I'm gonna tell you my agenda today, just to let you guys know. I'll be working the studio room again. I'm trying different things again. The reason why I do this, guys, every time because I want to prepare myself for the upcoming season, which is around the corner. Uh, I would like to get more insight, more information. So hopefully, I could get that through. by the time the season gets here, which is almost around the corner. First game is August against the Bears. That's preseason, of course. So I want to get ready, guys. Give you guys the best information, the best knowledge, the best understanding about pro football. Uh, a lot of people don't like sports, and it's not they don't like sports. They're not, there are other fans, basketball, baseball, you know. So, and that's another topic I would like to talk about. Baseball. Baseball is another subject that I'll talk later on. But listen, we got to remain positive. We got to believe in ourselves. It's the upcoming season for this team. The criticism continue. Um, and we just got to stay, positive all the way through. I tell all my fans, man, look what happened to Wilkins, a great player, played for the Dolphins. Suddenly, they cut him loose due to injury, and that's something that between you and me might go to court, might start a actual, dilemma there. People are saying, George, would you sign the guy? Will you bring him back? Uh, Hard question to answer. If I were to bring him back, do we need more injured players? I don't believe we need injured players, guys. I really, I really believe that. Why would you bring somebody with injuries? You know, the good news we heard also in this camp is, Sealer. They're talking contract negotiation. They're talking to sign them, and it's a big signing because we need them. Uh, as a fan, listen, I'm gonna say, and as a podcaster, the Dolphins are gonna be in good shape, guys. They're gonna be in good shapes. I don't see nothing wrong. The only thing I see wrong, because there's a big if, and there's a big if in every NFL team. What is the if? If he doesn't get hurt, if he doesn't play, if we don't have this guy, the if in the NFL is big all over to every team. But guess what? Stay positive. That's it. Stay positive. Believe in your team. Go forward. We're so much negative talking about our own teams, and why should we talk negative about our teams? Yeah, you have the rights to have your opinion. You have the rights to uh to have your own personal comment on your ball club or on your football team. But listen, the owners, the GMs, and the coaches, right? The three key elements besides the players. That's the last one I'm going to say. They are the one that built the actual chemistry, right, around the team by signing all these players. Now, I'm a firm believer. You continue to sign players because I'm not going to take. Let me say this before people get the wrong interpretation about this. You led the league in passing. You led the league in receiving. You led the league in rushing. Then your perspective is, man, he's a good running back. Let me sign him. You bring him to your ball club, and then he struggle. What is our first criticism? My God, we just signed a running back that led the league in running, and he can't run in Miami. He looks terrible. And now we start criticizing, talking bad about the player. He's not good enough, and the coach is not good enough, and the GM wasted his money, and the owner wasted his money. The GM made a bad pick. See, this is where I'm coming from, guys. This is part of daily basis in sports, right? So my thing is this, okay? You don't sign a player because he's the best. That's my perspective, right? You sign a player for your actual need of your team. Okay, there's strength and there's weaknesses in your team. So you fulfill your weaknesses to make your team better. So we are so considerate of criticizing, downsizing these players because we decide uh and we said it, I said it, we all said it. McDaniel's not good, he has to go. Greer has to go, and at the same time, guys, it's not it's not the way it is, okay? It's not the way it is. It's not the way that we want it to go. All right. Some of these players, unfortunately, man, it's part of the National Football League. So, that's something that I tell everybody. There's so much things that we could predict here. I could say so many things And I could be wrong in all of them. And if I'm right, what good does that do? So, I mean, all I can say, it's a long season, it's a full season, and we just have to prepare ourselves. That's it. That's all it is. Prepare ourselves. There's no other way to say it. Believe in your team, continue with your team, and support your team. Win, lose, or draw. That's what you got to do. So, and listen, we get caught up in so many things. Okay, we get caught up in so many things. We get caught up in things we shouldn't be getting caught up. It's okay. It's normal. It's part of life. You move on, but listen, stay positive. You know, believe in your team. Like I said earlier, don't let things like that tear you down, because it's just a football. It's entertainment, guys. It's football, sports. Who doesn't like sports? We all love sports. And yeah, and I'm wishing the best for the Dolphins. And listen, a lot of sports channels out there are actually mocking the Dolphins. Uh, ESPN had something that came out the other day. They ranked the 24th worst roster in this league. When I can tell you right now, and this is a fact, Miami is the fastest football team in the NFL. If it's not one of the fastest football team in the NFL. All right. So then your question might be, well, we don't need track teams. You're right. We don't need a track team. We need a winning team. And listen, same thing when they criticize Tua. He's what, 38 and 24? Missed 11 games in his career. This is his 6th year. I've been saying it all along, and all you fans have been saying it all along. Build him an offensive line. Build this kid an offensive line. Protect this kid. Yeah, we lost key players. Armstead retired. Okay. You know, Another player with injuries. Okay. We got upset when we traded Ramsey. I didn't. Rumors about Tyreek Hill leaving the ball club and probably trade him. And, Greer came out there, said that's not going to happen. And, it's hearing all these gossip and all these things that we hear that's so negative of the Miami Dolphins. And you know what? It doesn't only happen to the Dolphins. It happened to a lot of NFL teams. Listen, we lost John Smith. Okay, great year. I heard about that one too. We actually, lost him with a trade with Ramsey. But listen, he had a great career. But Miami has never was a tight end team since McDaniel took over. Okay, look at Gesicki. Gesicki left, went to Cincinnati. Look at his career in Cincinnati. And by the way, re-signed with Cincinnati, with the Bengals. He had a great year. Maybe that coach is like tight end. Okay, but guess what? He was in the San Francisco system where Kittles was there. So, but listen, don't let or don't get caught onto this information you get. I respect everybody' opinion, every podcaster, every sports podcaster, but when you start mocking teams and players, and you better have the facts. You don't have facts about it. Listen, but you have your opinion. I respect that. Every podcaster has their opinion. You could talk about any players in this league, how good they are and how good they was. Well, that's the same thing in our lifestyle. How good you are, how bad you turn into. Now, I'm not judging you. I'm just saying that. But you have to be real. You got to be realistic. I've been a Dolphin fan for many years, since 1972. I bought this up. I went with my dad when I was 6 years old. 1972 Dolphins, when they had that uh, little dolphin at the end of the end zone in the water. That's the first thing I was so excited about. Then it was real football back then. And yeah, things happen. I mean, things happen, guys. It's part of life. You come and go. You get great players. You know, I look at all the coaches, and I'm gonna be straight honest with you. I stopped counting the coaches that we Dolphins ever had since Don Shula. I stopped counting all the quarterbacks Miami had since Dan Marino. And it's amazing that we signed these players and never, and the closest we got to the Super Bowl was 1983 with Dan Marino. but we're so good at criticizing. And I'm a firm believer, man, that whatever goes around comes around, and it's how you set up your team. That in this, like, and once again, start from the GM. It doesn't start from nobody else. The GM makes a decision. The GM is the one that actually has to, sit down with the owner and the coach and make the decision what kind of team you want. But signing all these players and going back, signing all these players because they're big names, I could sit here too and name you all of them. And Miami has gone nowhere. And they continue to go nowhere until what they did this year. What they did this year, they changed the culture. They decided to change the culture. Why? Because they knew that Miami needed a change. So, and they changed. They really do. So I look at that, guys, and I'm going to stay in a positive way, okay? I believe this team will be special this year. That they got to fill some X's and O's, yes. I do believe in that. But that doesn't make them one of the worst team in the NFL, because I don't think they will be. I mean, I was looking at the predictions already, and we haven't even played one preseason game. We don't even know the lineup for the team. You can assume the lineup, but you don't know the lineup. I mean, didn't we just lost an offensive lineman due to a serious injury in the last day of camp? I mean, well, not last day of camp, actually the last day of practice. A neck injury. Then we lost a cornerback, Artie Burns, to a torn ACL. And what do we all say? Oh my God, here we go. Yeah, I did say it. Here we go again. The injury bug. This team doesn't catch a break. That's the actual thing I want to say. The Dolphins just can't catch a break. I mean, it is so sad. I mean, and it is. I mean, you get these players ready. Listen, they go to a weight room, nutritious. They get involved in, you name it, everything they can get involved in sports. They got hurt. Part of the world, right? Part of life, right? It happens sometimes, right? So, I just try to stay positive, guys. Try to stay positive. Once again, man, you just can't believe everything you hear out there. There's rumors. There's things that they say out there about players that, sometimes I really get upset because really it's not called for. I mean, why? I mean, I look at the Dolphins and listen, they're not a bad team. There's a lot of bad teams out there right now, but they could get better. And listen, if they all get together, play as a one unit, anything could happen. The only thing is you don't need a selfish individual person in your team. You don't need a person that their ego is higher than the other. You just don't need that thing in your team. And that brings controversy. That brings issue. I heard Tyreek Hill talking in on the press conference, and he was asked about the 2,000 yards. Yeah, I would like to have it, but right now, that was not his concern. His concern is to win football games. So imagine that. Good approach. Now we could sit here and say, is that true? Is that real? Is that him now? The moment they go 0-3, because this is it, guys. The test for the Dolphins is this, and I do this every year. I don't specialize. That's the word I'm going to use now. On doubting a team starting 0-3. I look at the first 7-8 games. Remember, it's a 17-game season. It used to be an actually 16-game season. How to approach this team? Where are they heading? What are their needs? Okay, so right now their needs is offensive linemen, which I think they're okay. But my thing is, if somebody get hurt, do they have a backup? Then you talk of the secondary, cornerback. They need a cornerback. Oh, Ramsey was let go. Yeah, but I look at this roster. I'll put this roster out on my stats on the computer. Miami had plenty of cornerbacks, man. The only thing, who's going to step up, right? That's all we, Storm Duck had a great last year. Storm Duck did pretty good. I know this is only practice. Yeah, they were saying a couple days ago that he went 7-on-7 with Tyreek Hill, and he did a heck of a job. Okay, and and Tyreek Hill is pretty fast. That's great, but that's only training. It's when the real game starts. That's when you face your opponent, how good you are. So that's that's what I have to say, guys. That, I don't like mocking anybody. I don't like saying, man, he's not good. He's not good enough. And sometimes you can have a bad season, turn it around the second season, and have a great season. I think this is a year to stay positive, Dolphin fans, that our team are going to be good. How good is the word again? The word if, which every NFL team has it. The big if. How healthy is Tua? Can they protect Tua? Because if they do, it's going to be a long, long season for a lot of NFL teams. Because I believe this guy could win, and he's a winner, guys. 38-24. Imagine if you split those 11 games that he missed. What would have been Tua record? See, this is what people don't understand, but I can't say it because the 11 game is not there. Now we could put things in our head about it, but listen, no, man. I try to be as positive, informative that I could feel about this team. We need to really think about it. Okay, I mean, this team has probably one of the best receiving core, probably one of the best running backs in the backfield, probably one of the best seven front guys they got. So, I mean, just think about it. Chubbs, Chops, Phillip, they got a great front. Zach Sealer, the rookie from Michigan. I mean, you can't say it. Now they got Mika Fitzpatrick. Everybody say, wow, it's Mika. Mika's a heck of a player, guys. Even though, he was traded for the Ramsey and Jono, but he is a great player. His veteran presence helps the team, help these rookies that come into this league. And we could become special. But nobody wants to believe in us. Nobody wants to agree with us, And listen, I understand Dolphin fans how you feel. And I don't take that away from you guys. I understand totally. I'm a Dolphin fan. Now, I'm going to get angry about it. I'm going to get upset about it. Okay. We haven't been to the Super Bowl. We haven't been to the play. I mean, we've been to the playoffs. We haven't won one. Okay. And maybe think about it. That could be just plain and simple execution. See, that's what left tackle Teron Armstead said. We lost a good teams. We couldn't beat good teams. It's because we couldn't execute. So if you execute in the field, you're going to have a field day. If you don't execute, so my thing is everybody be in the same page. That is so hard to have everybody in the field with the same page. And that's one thing that, you got to stand for. You got to have the players that you need to have in that field for you to go ahead and execute those plays. Now, if a player doesn't execute it, is it on Tua? Because that's one thing. We want to blame the quarterback. See, Tua threw it, but the guy dropped it. So, and those are the things that, the Dolphin needs to clean up from last year. The flags, the penalties, the mistakes, running the wrong routes. And listen, they're human. They're entitled to make mistakes. The only thing we as fans, we don't want to hear about it. So, but anyhow, I just came in like 20 minutes ago here, guys. I went to chat about the Miami Dolphins. And listen, I'm going to stay positive. I think they're going to have a heck of a season. I think they're going to surprise a lot of teams. Once again, with all due respect, don't care what ESPN said. I'm not going to dwell on that. That's their opinion. That's how they comment. That's how they see things. A lot of people see numbers. I don't see numbers. Numbers don't win football games, guys. Plays win football games. Okay. How many times we all seen this? Quarterback throw for 500 yards, 4 touchdowns, and lose the game. That is a statistic. Show me a win, then we're talking something else. And then the other controversial stuff, if you want to call it controversial, is when people come out and says, hey, we had over 600 yards of offense in that game when we lost. Okay, that comes to what I just said earlier. You lost because you didn't execute it. You can have so many yards, you can have so many things, but if you don't execute, how can you get there? How can you reach there? So execution is very important, guys, when it comes to the NFL and any sports. Okay, you come to bat, and let's use baseball. You come to bat in the bottom of the line, bottom of the ninth. Sorry, bottom of the ninth, and you got the bases loaded. Okay, you're down 5-4. Okay, all you need is a base hit, but the batter decides, "Oh, I'm gonna hit a grand slam," and he strikes out. Okay, or maybe you're facing the best pitcher in baseball, the best reliever in baseball. That's right, the best reliever because he shuts you down. You see, so all these intangibles and critical things that happen in sports, we don't look at. Sometimes we overlook that. The best batter in baseball hit 50 homers this year, and he's batting in the bottom of the ninth inning with the bases loaded. But imagine he's a slugger. He's a home run hitter. We don't know what's in the mind of that batter. Is he really wants a grand slam or he really wants a base hit to win the game? All he needs is a base hit to win the game. But then you got the pitcher on the other side and says, man, I'm facing the best hitter in baseball. If I strike him out, man, I'll probably make history. You see what I'm saying? It could go either way, guys. That's what I'm trying to say. It could go either way. And that's how I feel the Miami Dolphins. I think the clock, the time, if you want to say that, is changing for the Dolphins. I do believe that. I believe that Miami will shock a lot of teams in the National Football League, to be honest with you. That's how I feel. Oh, good morning, Carlos. How you doing? Thank you for joining in the chat. I'm going to be honest and positive with you guys, man. Do you believe in your team? Do you really root for your team? Because some sports don't root for their team. Some sports fans don't root for their team. They just root for the players. So it comes a long ways, guys. It comes a long ways. It comes a long ways. I always say this, man. This is a hard league to play. It is not easy to play in the NFL, guys. I wish I could tell you, man, that at the same time, man, you could go undefeated every year. Imagine that. Just imagine that. Okay? That you could beat every team in this National Football League. Like the Miami Dolphins. Why was the Miami Dolphins undefeated 17-0? Why was their name the no-name defense? Because basically you don't know who the heck they had there, right? But when everybody works together, you have a heck of a coach of Don Shula and take this team all the way to the Super Bowl without losing one single game. Which, by the way, the record's still not broken. And I don't think it will be able to be broken. And neither Don Shula, the most winningest coach in the NFL. That's something that let's see what team could do that. Now, coaching, the closest one was Bill Belichick, and he went to college football to North Carolina. That's the closest coach for those victories. That it can happen, anybody can happen, but you have to play many years, and you have to have a lot of winning seasons. And Don Shula did have a lot of winning season. So just think about it. Because sometimes, man, I'd be like, wow, that is so true, guys. That is so true. We're so focused on numbers that we need to be focused on the actual player football team. Numbers are just statistics, man. What Don Shula did in the 70s, it's incredible, you know. And hopefully, like I said, you guys could join me and we could join this journey together as the NFL season starts. Preseason starts what, a couple of weeks from now or a week from now, um, and let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. You know, Carlos here right now. I think he is still here. He's a Dallas Cowboy fan. And listen, let's be honest. How do you feel about the Cowboys? I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Cowboys have a lot of holes to fill. You know, they do. They have to. They think Prescott just because they got Pickens and we got two receivers. Yeah, but you don't have a running back. You need a good running back. I know they picked the guy from college, but you have to understand that thing, guys. That we don't you know we don't base on one player. That's what I want to say. We don't base on one player. You base on your whole football team. I base on all 53-man roster. These young men come from college to the pro, which now they get paid, of course. So what happens is they come to the pro. All right. Most of them is sad. They sit in the sideline looking at each other face to face because, my God, when they're going to call me? When I'm going to join this? When I'm going to do this? When I'll be part of this team? And it's so hard, guys. It is so hard to play in the NFL. And listen, I'm going to be honest, man. Root for your team, win, lose, or draw. Stay with your team. Uh, I'll be making my prediction probably third week of preseason. I got to sit down. I was looking at the actual schedule of every team. It's a lot of teams. It's 32 teams. There's teams that are going to come up, are going to rise from the worst that they were for years, and they weren't winning. I'm going to tell you who's won right now. It's the Chicago Bears. I like their draft pick. I like what they did for the quarterback. Some people don't. And here we go. It's not some people. It's just the fans. Some fans says, "Well, I don't agree they're good enough. I think their defense is going to be good. I think their offense is going to be good." For Caleb, sometimes they start good. Look at C.J. Stroud. He started good. Took that team back to playoffs. And then he's one, like I said, one piece of the puzzle away to advance to the next level. But they traded for Larry Thompson. So that's one key of the offensive line. And that's one thing they struggle when they put pressure on him. Okay. I was seeing a list of the elite quarterbacks. I'm going to be honest with you guys, man. Everybody's going to have their opinion. And they have their list of their 10 top quarterbacks. And once again, they're going to have their opinion. If you're going to look at statistics and numbers, then you might have a case of, I won't say argument or debate. Who's number one? Every probably podcaster, sports podcaster, and winning MVP, who's elite, not elite. I talked to that before. That elite stuff, guys, let's be honest. You win a Super Bowl, now you consider elite. All right. Allen been here what? And Allen in I think 6-7 years. So does Lamar Jackson. They haven't won a Super Bowl, but they consider elite. Don't get that. Don't understand that. Right? Very confusing. Why? Because everybody's so opinionated. That's their opinion. Okay. So what takes an elite quarterback? Well, if that's the case, Tua led the league in passing. Why he wasn't an elite quarterback? Oh, my bad. He didn't win a Super Bowl. He didn't win a playoff game. Okay. So does Allen have a Super Bowl? Does Lamar Jackson have a Super Bowl? See, now the controversy is once the Hurst won the Super Bowl, now Hurst is an elite quarterback. And now these former quarterbacks or former broadcaster or popcaster are complaining, well, I don't consider, they're good quarterbacks. Yeah, but they haven't won the Super Bowl. They are two-time MVPs. Okay. So we could sit here and critique, and this is what we're good at, right? This is where you get your chance of coming into a chat and start talking about, who do you feel that's good, who's bad, because you have your opinion. I have to respect that. Okay, why? Because that's your team. You know, Barkley, you know, the running back at Philadelphia when he was in the Giants, heck of a running back. He left the Giants, left the Giants to go to the Eagles, wins the Super Bowl, goes to the Eagle, set a record, I think, in rushing. He could have break the NFL record, but the coach decided to sit him down. Okay. See, maybe wrong player, wrong team. Maybe wrong personnel. And we could go on and on and on and on. And that's what I'm saying, That's why when you get into sports, man, you do read numbers, you read history, you read their actual, career, their actually stats, what they have done in their professional career in sports. But let's be honest. Let's be honest. At the end of the day, they're human just like me and you. They're not perfect. But this is where, you might say that's part of sports because they critique the players. That's what, fan base has the right to say, hey man, and listen, I'm not taking away that from you guys either. You guys want to say, hey, because right now, top quarterback for me, I'll say Dan Marino. And everybody says, oh, man, because you're a Dolphin fan. No, man, because he broke records that was told to be broken, and he broke in his career. Now, of course, then came Brett Favre, then came Drew Brees, then came Brady, then came now. You might argue with me, the best quarterback is Brady. Well, because he won 7 Super Bowl. Wow, really? You see, I believe in this. There's different eras in each sports. The 3rd century, the 2nd century, the 1st century. I look at that and people don't understand that. And then one thing I do believe, and I say this in a good way, and maybe I'm wrong, and like I said, I could be wrong because I'm human, right? But if you put Tua with the Eagle offensive line, I would not doubt Tua win a couple Super Bowls. And this is where the fan base and the fan gets inside and start critiquing the Dolphins or critiquing, oh man, he left Miami let him go. Well, you were the one that were saying he was terrible. You're Tua haters. You're Tua that doesn't like Tua. Tua is a great quarterback, guys. He might not be the best quarterback, but he's a great quarterback. He's a winner. Does everybody forget what happened in the national championship when he came in out of and Nick Saban said, hey man, it's your turn. I need you to go there. Listen, Hurst could even answer you that question because Hurst left Alabama because Tua took over, and then he went to Ohio State. So think about that. Okay? Think about that. Now, we know what happened to Tua. I don't want to go back to the time, but his hip injury, well, they were saying, well, Nick Saban should have kept the guy in the game. They were winning up. They were big. They would have a big score. He left him in the game. Should have taken him out. Okay, we know what? Injury happens. Concussion happens. You get hit, you get popped. That's the NFL. The biggest question to all of us, once again, and that's to all the NFLs, the letter if. And that's one thing I'm going to talk about pretty soon. If. And the problem is that we don't need if. We need what's going to happen. We need it to happen. It's funny how these coaches and owners and GMs sits in the podium or talks on the podium, whatever you want to say. I won't say sit, but stand up on the podium and start saying, well, if he wouldn't get hurt, well, there's nothing we can do with if. If is not your answer. Your answer is what are you going to do to improve your team? And see, and let's look at the Dolphins for a second. Look at the bind they got into. Their cap space, $2 million cap space, right? They're signing players left and right. And somebody told me a couple of days ago at work, Man, they're picking these players like they're picking stuff from a garbage can. I say, well, don't say that. Why are you saying they're picking players out of the garbage can? Yeah, because that's how they. I mean, they don't have enough to pick, and they'll pick whatever they want. They pick up a tight end, they're retired. They pick up a cornerback yesterday that hasn't played in 2 years. Why am I thinking negative? Who knows? Maybe that's what they need. Okay, maybe it's a lesson to say, hey, man, don't spend all this money on these players because listen to what they did with all the contract extension a year ago. Listen, why do you extend the contract? Why you build all that money extending these players' contract? In the long run, look what happens. Now, I'm gonna say this, and I don't think it's gonna happen. But if this happens, this is gonna be amazing. If the Dolphins want to trade, they have enough good players to trade to get stuff back because they do. I mean, their running back core is just amazing, guys. Their receiving core is amazing. Then you got Malik Washington if he's healthy, and there's the word again, if. So, and I try to tell everybody, man, that at the same time is that sports, it's a how can I say this so you guys understand me? And this is actually every sports. That's baseball, football, basketball. It is a hard, you want to call it subject if you want to say that. I don't know which way to call it, but my word just came out of my head. I can't remember now what the exact word I want to use. Okay, you have to compete. Okay, in sports, you got to be good at it. In sports, you got to go. It's like you go to school, man. You wake up in the morning, go to school. Okay, come back home. Okay, do your homework. That's it. That's sports. Do your homework. So if you do your homework, I guarantee you it's going to be good for you the next day when you go back to school. That's what I feel in sports right now. Some players are not doing their homework. I get paid the big bucks. I don't need to be in any meetings, in any practices, in any field. I'm ready. I'm healthy. When the season starts, I could play. See, that's the stuff that you don't need in your football club. That's what I was talking about. Get away from it. That negative feedback. I mean, for your club, and I'm sorry I changed the subject, but this is what I feel. That's why we as fans are so disappointed with the Dolphins. And listen, you got Giants fan disappointed. You got Cleveland fan disappointed. Listen, now that I brought the Cleveland Browns, God, let me say this before I forget this. Remember Myles Garrett in the Super Bowl when he sat down with Rich Eisen, and watch how sad this is. It's not about the money. It's about winning, right? Winning, going to a team and win it. What he does? He signs a non-quarterback contract. Ridiculous. So is Watt, by the way, J.J. Watt. Okay, and go back to Cleveland. So, what are the fans are saying? Oh my gosh, what happens if we don't win it? What's going to be Myles Garrett reaction? Hey, you got your money. You signed your contract. You see what I'm saying? Is it for the love of the game or is it for the love of the money? Because right now we're doing it for the love of the money. And that's one thing I truthfully believe what's happening around the NFL, and that's why teams are not successful. I'm not saying that don't pay a quarterback what the quarterback is due. I'm not saying don't pay a tight end what the tight end is due. Don't pay a running back what he's due. I mean, but you judge him because of one season. Oh my God, let's give him 10 million. Why don't you wait your 3 season? Let's look at 2 out of 3. See, they don't do that. You know why? Because the moment they do that, any NFL team can come by and says, "I'll take that running back if you don't want him." And of course, you're gonna go there. But then, for me, you got players in your team whining and complaining because they haven't won a championship. They haven't gone to the playoffs. They haven't won a Super Bowl. Well, maybe you're in the wrong team. But listen, you stay in your team. You got the money. Now you got to deal with it and go through it to the whole year, regardless. See, Tyreek comes to Miami, and I'm not going to use it as a critiquing, okay? The first thing the fan base said, my God, we're going to the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's on paper. But then we saw what we got, right? And I'm not going to discuss what happened last year. So, and that's some of the stuff that you have to think about, okay? At the same time, you said to yourself, wow. So we got all these good players. Same thing with Ramsey. Oh, we got Ramsey. And watch this. We start winning. The GM started extending all these contracts. Waddle, Tariq, Ramsey. Did not extend Sealer. Did not extend Sealer contract. Okay, but start extending all these contracts. Even, and you ask yourself, what in the world? You haven't proven anything yet for you to extend these these contracts to these players. Sorry about that. But you extended the contract, and look, now you cut them loose. John's gone. Raheem Mostert's gone. And here we go. We got players that after they're gone, now they start criticizing their team. So there you go. Are those officially your players? Now they got their opinion, how they feel about the Dolphins. I'm not saying that they don't. Okay. But once again, I always say this. We know what's outside the door. We don't know what happens inside the door when it comes to these football teams with these players. Okay. The moment Raheem Mostert start fumbling, McDaniel sits him down. Get disappointed. Okay. Was that McDaniel bringing a message across to the team? So when Tyreek Hill did that, why didn't approach Tyreek Hill and say, hey, man, you know what? We don't need this here. See, so now this is where the lack of culture, all this is coming in to the team. And the best thing I can wish for this team right now is stay focused. Okay. Stay focused because look, I mean, I could be here all day talking about this team, and I'm not going to get frustrated because of this team. Why? Because I've seen everything that you have seen as a fan. I seen it, but different perspective. You guys see it a different way that I see it. Okay. You're signing superstars player for what? I'd rather get a kid from college that's hungry, that would like to play in my team, than sign a player that's been here 10 years in the league and he's the best, whatever position he's in, to come in my, you understand what I'm saying? Because what happened is, all right, we don't need to fill the stadium because of a big name. We filled a stadium because we are winners. When you win, okay, your stadium will fill up. When you don't win, it's not going to fill up. When you start seeing it's getting emptying every day, ask yourself a question. So that's something that I could address to. So I mean, I just tell people that you have to do the right things. Carlos said he totally agree. I mean, like I say, you have your opinion, Carlos, and I got mine, and nothing wrong with that. I mean, I don't disagree with you. I mean, it's just things that happen in sports. Money controls everything, and that's what's happening right now. So, but we got to be realistic on this, guys. Sometimes we don't want to listen. We just want to do things the way we want to do it, and this is where fans, the team get affected, players get affected. My name is such, and I'm gonna show up and practice when I feel like it. I want to do what I want to because I'm the big guy. I'm the big macho. Guys, that's not the way it goes. That's not the way it goes. Listen, we all a team. It's a 53-man roster. So why do you carry 53-man roster for? To keep them in the sideline? You put 11 on defense, 11 on offense, and the rest are on the sideline looking at each other. Wow. No, guys, it's a team. It's one unit together. McDaniel has his work cut out this year. So does Greer. Everybody told me, should have fired McDaniel? Not really. You should have fired Greer. If that's the case, fire Greer, not McDaniels. All right? Because McDaniel's also a coach that, hey, you give him what you got. The owner signing the contract. Listen, let me say this so you guys understand where I'm coming from. If I give you a blank cake, I say, here's a blank cake. Well, what do you want me to do with this cake? Do whatever you want with it. That means you're going to decorate it the way you want to. You see, that's what I feel the Dolphins doing to McDaniel, to this team. Give me that cake and see what he could do with it. I'm using that like an example now. I just use a cake so you can understand where I'm coming from. Well, I like vanilla cake. I like chocolate cake. Okay, so let's put a half vanilla in it. Okay, what's the decoration on it? You put the decoration on it. Okay, maybe that cake when you taste it, I don't like that cake. There we go. That's where I'm coming from. So you give somebody something that you don't like, but then you said you deal with it. I'm not. Now it might sound funny, but that's how I feel. I mean, this is the way I could say the Dolphins organization is it's going if it continues to be like that. But I do believe something special it's about to happen to this team. I really do, guys. I don't, I see something good coming to this team. I really do. I I don't give up easy. I don't, guy. Been a Dolphin fan for many years, and listen, they win it this year. That's one other thing. Is take all the critique from every, area rumors around there, every podcaster, every sport channel, because they talk bad about the actual individual, talking bad about the actual team. I mean, paper's and paper, man. You could write anything on paper, but when you hit the field, it's when you actually got to show it. And I agree with that 100%, guys. You have to understand that. So, but anyhow, if you have not subscribed to the channel, guys, subscribe to the channel. Like I say, it's going to be a fun season. I can't wait, to be honest with you, to the season to start. Uh, I believe that once again, I'll be saying this, guys. I'm a true believer that Miami's going to have a great season. And listen, I don't know how good, but I think something good's coming. It's about time something good's coming. I don't know why, but I see a team that in the horizon, and I could be wrong now. I know people gonna say, "Well, you could be wrong." Well, you're right. I could be wrong, but I believe to the Dolphin fan to be honest and be optimistic. I think they're gonna be good. I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna surprise a lot of people this year. You know, Rich Heisenberg uh, said something good the other day. Actually, probably yesterday when I saw his podcast. I watch a lot of podcasts, a lot of sports podcasts, and I hear everybody different opinion. And you got great podcasters. Let me tell you that you got TD Finn, Ace Head, uh, great podcast. You got, like I said, Dudley Do Wrong. You got great podcaster, very professional, very knowledgeable, and all that. And and listen, they got excellent opinion. They got excellent, information. But it's just that the media. I mean, the media just don't like the Dolphins. Just don't like them. And you know what? For all I care, and I say this in a good way, the Dolphin players don't care either. Okay. Jalen Wright was interviewed also on one of the podcast show, and they say, "Hey, how do you feel? How the media talking about the Dolphins?" He goes, "Listen, I'm not. You can't let that bother you." He says, "Listen, man, we just gotta go on the field and perform, and that's it. Sometimes you gotta shut these people down, because that's what they're good at. This is where they get their freaking numbers, if you want to say that." So, I mean, I just feel that uh, it's a young season. There's potential for the team. Okay, for every team in the NFL, there's potential. So the only thing is we can't get caught up in all this stuff. So you know, and like I said, man, the Cowboys. Okay, let me before I forget, because that is Carlos' team, the Cowboys. How you expect a quarterback? Because Dak is a good quarterback. That's another thing when we're talking about top 10 quarterback, top 10. Okay, statistic wise, winning wise, my God, Dak had Ezekiel Elliott. Let's be honest. Dak had a good team a while back when McCarthy was there. but didn't have a defense. So how can you expect a quarterback to be successful or a team to be successful when you don't give them the piece of the puzzle? And that's not a bad team. This year, I don't see them as good as people think they are. But like I said, I'm not going to talk about prediction, and I'm bringing that to Carlos because Carlos is a Dallas Cowboy fan, and I'm going to have my prediction coming up. And some of you guys, and like I said, that's my opinion. You guys have yours. Some people disappointed because I look at everything. I look at roster. I look at uh, the injuries, teams they play. So everything has to come in play, guys. It's not to focus on just one thing. Well, we got the best quarterback. We got the best running back. You better look at the whole 53-man roster. But anyhow, I want to thank all you guys and Carlos for joining in the chat. Those that have subscribed to the channel, once again, thank you so much. I did came in. I didn't put a notification. I'm having an issue with my system. I'll get that fixed. Hopefully tonight it could come live. I just did it this morning. And once again, man, thank you so much. Fins up, and God bless you guys, and see you guys soon.